You are now listening to the smooth, mellifluous sounds of Red's Room Podcast. Enjoy.
Welcome to episode number 15 of the Red's Room Podcast. I'm your host, Red.
And I'm your co-host, Jake.
And today we are talking about Dracula, Vlad the Impaler. As always, our references are in the episode description. So, who is Vlad the Impaler? Known as Vlad Tepes, commonly called the title Vlad the Impaler or Vlad Dracula, was Voivode. That is I probably screwed that up, pronunciation, but that is a title referring to prince or military leader of the country Wallachia 3 times between 1448 and his death in 1446 or 7.
You're 76?
76 or 77. Thanks. He is often considered one of the most important rulers in Wallachian history and a national hero of Romania. Vlad was the second of 4 brothers born into the noble family of Vlad II Dracula. His sobriquet, Dracula, I don't know that's a big word for me. It means son of Dracula, was derived from the Latin Draco or dragon after his father's induction into the Order of the Dragon created by Holy Roman Emperor Sigismund for the defense of Christian Europe against the Ottoman Empire. Vlad moved to Targovist in Wallachia in 1436, when his father assumed the leadership of the Wallachian Principality. In 1442, Vlad and his younger brother were sent to the court of Ottoman Sultan Murad II as collateral to assure the Sultan that their father, in a reversal of his previous position, would support Ottoman policies. Vlad returned in 1448, having been informed of the assassination of his father and elder brother at the hands of Wallachian nobles the year before.
Dope little origin. Comes back and his dad's dead and his brother's dead. He's pissed off.
Yeah, he's collateral, almost like a prisoner of war. This is like Game of Thrones stuff.
Also, when you said Dracula meaning dragon, I thought right away like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Yeah, he probably got some ideas from here.
Yeah.
The guy's life is insane.
Yeah, dude. He's a badass. Maybe a kind of piece of crap too, but dope guy.
Well, he's coming back. He was, like a prisoner of the Ottomans, and he's coming back to his father and elder brother assassinated.
Yeah, he's got motives, you could say.
Yeah, this backstory is insane. Mm-hmm. So, Vlad then embarks upon the first of a lifelong series of campaigns to regain his father's seat. His opponents included the boyars, that's the nobles, as well as his younger brother, who was supported by the Ottoman Sultan. He emerged briefly victorious in 1448, but was disposed after only 2 months. After an 8-year struggle, Vlad again claimed the Voivodate.
So he got his spot back.
Yeah, I'm screwing that up, but that's basically like the ruler. Mm-hmm. He's like the prince.
Yeah.
So he returned in 1448 and then already becomes in charge and then gets kicked out and then has to fight for 8 years to get back in charge again.
He got it done though.
Yeah, he is he's on a mission. He's dedicated. Let's see. So it was during this period of rule, after the 8 years when he's finally back, in that period of rule, that he committed the atrocities for which he was best known. His penchant for impaling his enemies on stakes in the ground and leaving them to die earned him the name Vlad the Impaler. He inflicted this type of torture on foreign and domestic enemies alike. Notably, as he retreated from a battle in 1462, he left a field filled with thousands of impaled victims as a deterrent to pursuing Ottoman forces.
Yeah, we'll get into it. There's a bunch of crazy stories. Just ruthless is the way I would describe him.
Yeah, he to his enemies, he's ruthless. I wonder. I tried to find. I couldn't find anything really about his time when he was as a child, like a young man sent to the Ottoman Sultan. I wonder what his treatment was like. If that plays into how he became this, sociopath, psychopath that became the inspiration for Dracula.
Yeah, totally fair.
I wonder what he was treated like then.
Probably not good.
Yeah, it sounds like his life was so rough.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about this period of his life, of what made the legend that is Vlad Tepes or Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, such a dope name.
Oh, yeah, Vlad Tepes. Before researching this, I thought Tepes was his name. I didn't realize Tepes means impaler. I didn't realize it was a title.
Yeah.
Yeah, forever I thought it was like Vlad Tepes Dracula, but I was like, oh, those are both titles. Mm-hmm. Tepes and Dracula are titles. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Freaking badass sounding. Yeah, for sure.
I didn't know that either. Little good fun fact there.
Yeah, the more you know. So, according to one story, Vlad had 2 monks impaled to assist them to go to heaven, also ordering the impalement of their donkey because it began braying after its master's death.
Yeah, like if any thing steps out of line and Vlad doesn't approve of it, like you're going on the stake, even if you're a freaking donkey.
Yeah. There's no screwing up around this guy.
No.
He's zero patience. So that's just one little... This is just a bunch of little stories and little things about him. So here's a different one. Vlad once noticed that there were many vagrants, beggars, and cripples in his kingdom. He invited all the poor and sick in Wallachia to get a great feast, proclaiming that no one should go hungry in his land. The poor and crippled were brought into a vast hall where a fabulous feast was prepared for them. The guests ate and drank late into the night when Vlad appeared and asked the assembled crowd, quote, "Do you want to be without cares, lacking nothing in this world?" When the answer was affirmative, Vlad boarded up the hall and had everyone within fried to a crisp. Vlad explained his action by saying, quote, "No one will be poor in my realm."
I mean, just zero morality here.
This doesn't even sound like a real story.
No.
This sounds like it's like from a novel of the evil guy, what he does, he's the villain.
He just burned fucking everyone and just did not, and his reasoning, no one will be poor in my, I guess in his head, he just was him. He thought he had his way of what he wanted things to be, and there was no stopping him.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There it is right there.
Yeah,
Here, I'll say one story real quick.
Yeah, I thought you might have some.
So this one I'll go with first. It's the attack on Brasov, spelled Brasov. I probably ain't saying it right, but April 1459. It's a Transylvanian city. Vlad pulls up. They burn all the buildings, pillage, and of course, we can't forget that women, men, children, he didn't spare anyone, were all impaled on stakes. And they give a little location. It says, on the hill by the chapel of St. Jacob. But what gets crazier is, so this is the attack's over. Everyone's all staked up. Vlad requests a table to be set up, and it's by the victims who were clearly suffering. Vlad sits down, enjoys a lunch like nothing is happening, probably relishing it, just enjoying the battle being done, and I guess to his standards, his success. And what gets crazier is legend says that he grabs a piece of bread, walks up to one of the stakes with one of the freshly impaled victims, dips it in the blood, and munches that piece of bread.
crazy.
Yeah, I think that's also where we kind of get into the Dracula connection. But
Hey, to his credit, he is in no way misogynistic.
Yeah, no.
He's equal opportunist torturer. Men, women, children, he doesn't care. He slays all of
yeah,
them.
neither misogynistic or ageist. No matter what.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't care. If you're old, he doesn't care. He's murdering
Or
you
young,
anyways.
dude, he does not.
He
care.
doesn't spare anyone.
No. But
Dude, it's insane.
yeah, dude.
Hey, but I will say this. Okay, yeah, obviously the dude's a psychopath. But back in those days when you're at war, man, you want a psychopath on your team,
Yeah,
right?
I definitely part of his thing was instilling fear into his opposition, and he was
was good at
very good at doing that.
Yeah, like there's still legend of him to this day.
Yeah, freaking.
Yeah, I don't know that they would have held up against the Ottomans if it wasn't for this guy.
I 100% agree. Like if he didn't do the crazy shit he did, I don't think you're right. Maybe they don't hold up.
I think they would have ran over him if he wasn't there to just.
Yeah, I think the Ottomans just
Yeah,
make
I mean they called him devil. They thought he was a devil.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
No, yeah, freaking weird.
I'm in no way supporting what he does. I'm just saying that's yeah. You got another one, or
You want me to do one more?
I'll go into the next part, or it's up to you. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do another one real quick. This one is about the Forest of the Impaled.
That is a crazy title, dude.
Yeah.
That sounds like it could be like a 3-part series on its own.
Literally, 100%. Little mini series on Netflix or something.
Or that's like the part of the movie where they reach it and they can't go anywhere else.
Oh,
you have to go through the forest of the impaled.
Yeah, you have.
Everyone's like, no.
Yeah, we don't exactly.
It's cursed.
Some of these things are hard to get dates on, but the year I got from this is 1462. It went down about 60 miles from Targovist. And then so an Ottoman, the Sultan, his name is Mehmed II. I'm trying my best. But so he led his army to destroy Vlad, and his men were stopped. And what they saw was insane. You can already imagine. They saw a field full of stakes. All were impaled Ottomans, victims that fell to Vlad. Once again, men, women, children, everyone. Babies weren't spared either, often impaled with their mothers. That's a common thing you'll hear if you get into Vlad the Impaler at all. Supposedly, there was 20,000 victims covering a 3-mile area. So this dude, he walks up. He's what the fuck? He's sketched. His men are sketched. I bet if I were them, they just fucking turned around and walked the other way. One of these stakes, one stake was way taller than the others. Like in my little head, I imagine it being tall as shit. But and it was an Ottoman leader. I guess he made little special differences for a higher tier guy. And supposedly this dude, his name was Hamza Pasha. And before they put him on the stake, they cut his arms and his legs off. So he was just like a nugget just on the stake.
I don't know why, but I picture him just mocking that guy. And mocking his name, too.
Yeah.
Hamza Pasha?
Yeah.
Oh, Hamza Pasha.
Yeah.
Cut off his arms and legs.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're going to Hamza Pasha in the sky, bitch.
Yeah. Literally. That's so how I imagine.
I just imagine him being like that. Just so insane.
Yeah.
Like a violent Mad Hatter.
Dude, 100%, man. Looking into this story, one thing that I learned is often the stakes that he would use to impale people, they weren't like super sharp at the top of the stake. They would be slightly rounded, so it was a slower death.
Oh, that reminds me of that movie when they're like, stab him with the spoon.
Oh, yeah.
Why a spoon? Because it'll hurt more.
Yeah, dude.
He's like, round it. I don't want it sharp. I want them to slowly, the gravity of their body,
and
just, oh.
Yeah, I guess we probably should have put a disclaimer on the stuff. Like, there's no sugarcoating any of this. Like, if you were a dude, he'd throw you, through the ass. It'd come out your mouth or a part of your body, and if he really didn't like you, he'd fucking turn you upside down, head first.
Head first impaled.
Yeah. But Yeah,
And then woman was through the vagine.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. No one.
man, he would impale you from ass to mouth. Woman from vagina to mouth.
Yeah,
It's dude.
yeah.
Man.
It's hard to, have try to like this guy, but the stories are freaking insane, man. Like, why didn't? I guess there's a reason why we didn't learn about this in school,
No,
but
I think
feel like they should teach this stuff.
Yeah, I think the only likable things about him is the vampire Dracula. The
Yeah.
mythical character vampire Dracula can be likable, but this guy, the only argument you can say is that he was fighting a gruesome war and he was outnumbered and he was being just brutal.
Yeah.
And I think he was using these things as psychological warfare on top of being just a psychopath.
Yeah, I imagine when those Ottomans walked up and saw that, they just no words was said. They just all glanced at each other left to right, turned the fuck around, and just went back home. Like,
Oh.
I ain't walking through that,
There's
dude.
some stories like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, I was thinking too, like 20,000 impaled people. I imagine him being the type of person that literally was like, I want 20,000 impaled people.
Yes.
No. Like, and like he'd count it or something.
Yeah.
Or he'd have a servant go count it and make sure.
Yeah, it needs to be 20,000. I will not accept anything less.
Yeah. Even being mad if it was one extra person.
Yeah, if
just
it was
for no
one
reason.
less or more. He's like, all right, we got to start over. We got to go find another area.
my
We're
God,
doing
no.
this all over again.
No. Oh man, it's insane. So let's now that we got some stories of him, let's talk about the vampire. The stories of him being a vampire. This didn't happen until way after his death. Obviously, there was legends of him being being the devil or a demon or devil. You can extrapolate that pretty easily from all the insane things he did. But I was skipping a part. Excuse me.
Got some more stories?
There was some more stories.
I got some more too. Hit us with one.
Let's you know what I started. Let's talk about the vampire myth. We'll go back to more Dracula stories, okay? Let's do it that way.
All right.
So the vampire. So after way after his death, Bram Stoker's Dracula, that is the original Dracula novel, was published in 1897. Was the first book to make a connection between Dracula and vampirism. Stoker had his attention drawn to the blood-sucking vampires of Romanian folklore by Emily Gerard's article about Transylvanian superstitions that was published in 1885. Bram, his limited knowledge about the medieval history of Wallachia come from William Wilkinson's book entitled Account of the Principalities of Wallachia and Moldavia with Political Observations Related to Them, published in 1820.
Okay.
Stoker apparently did not know much about Vlad the Impaler. That's insane. He didn't know much about him, and he made this.
Yeah.
Certainly not enough for us to say that Vlad was the inspiration for Count Dracula. You can't definitively say it, but it definitely is. According to Elizabeth Miller, for instance, Stoker wrote that Dracula had been of... What is that word? Skezkali origin?
I think that was decent.
Only because he knew about both Attila the Hun's destructive campaigns and the alleged Hunnic origins of the Skezkalis. Stoker's main source, Wilkinson, who accepted the reliability of the German stories, described Vlad as a wicked man. Actually, Stoker's working papers for his book contain no references to the historical figure. The name of the character being named in all drafts, but the later ones, Count Wampir? That's dumb.
Yeah.
Consequently, Stoker borrowed the name and scraps of miscellaneous information about the history of Wallachia when writing his book about Count Dracula. So he kind of sloppily connected it to Vlad.
Yeah, I would say.
Is what I would say.
I'd say Dracula. It's its own thing.
He
took a
made
few
it
inspirations. But
well. He was inspired by Transylvanian, vampire myths.
yeah,
And then he knew. Apparently, he knew of Dracula, Vlad Dracula,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
just kind of connected it without knowing a lot.
and that's fair. But
That's fair, but it's
People-
kind of insane.
I feel like that also like people kind of synonymously link those two things, but in reality, they're two completely different things.
Right. I guess you got to give him some leeway there because he's doing this in 1897. It's not
Yeah.
like he could just Google all the information he needed.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing in a few of the topics, especially last one with Saint Germain and different one. Like this is a while back. It was definitely a lot harder then.
Yeah. I like how it says Attila the Hun. That's someone we got to cover
Really?
eventually. Yeah.
Okay.
But that I definitely got Attila the Hun vibes
Okay.
from Dracula. So it says here that what did it say that he kind of got it from someone who Wilkinson, who got some of
William
that from the German stories about Vlad. So that's what I was going to cover first.
Segue to
We're going to and from here. So we're going to go back. I wanted to talk about the German stories.
Okay.
Okay. I know. Sorry if that was kind of underwhelming. The vampire connection. There's not that
There's
much to
really
it.
not.
There's just not that much there.
Other than I did have that one legend about him dipping the piece of bread in blood, but I didn't find anything of him biting someone's neck or, you can try to make the connection, but it's just more cool than anything else.
All right. So let's get into these German stories. These are pretty interesting themselves. So I only took a little bit from it, but
Got some cool stuff.
it's really interesting. So the legend of Vlad. So works containing to the stories about Vlad's cruelty were published in Low German in the Holy Roman Empire before 1480. They provided a detailed narration of the conflicts between Vlad and the Transylvanian Saxons, showing that they originated in the literary mind of the Saxons.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And, he mostly fought the Ottomans. I don't know why they talked about that. They're talking about him fighting the Saxons.
They got their own version of it, maybe.
Yeah, so this is saying in the literary mind of the Saxons. So to me, this is already saying that, like, this is, like, the legends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His reputation is going out there, and they're spreading it, and it's growing.
Yeah.
So the stories about Vlad's plundering raids in Transylvania were clearly based on an eyewitness account because they contain accurate details, including the list of churches destroyed by Vlad and the dates of the raids. So there's some accurate things here. They describe Vlad as a demented psychopath, a sadist, a gruesome murderer, a masochist, worse than Caligula and Nero. However, the stories emphasizing Vlad's cruelty are to be treated with caution because his brutal acts were very probably exaggerated or even invented by the Saxons.
I think, you definitely got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think this is where things get muddy with Vlad because he obviously was a cruel guy, but a lot of the stories about him are exaggerated.
Yeah, to what extent did it actually go to?
It's hard to say. Did he actually impale 20,000 people? Or was it a field? Was there a couple of hundred people and it just looked ridiculous?
Yeah, I assume regardless, the visual was pretty insane, but 20,000, that's a lot of stakes, man. Yeah. I imagine they'd have Vlad has a couple factories of people just pumping steaks out.
How long would it take to implement that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it did. It
possible,
did or didn't happen.
Yeah,
and I'm not making an argument for him being a good or a bad guy. He's obviously a bad guy, but it's kind of
it's hard to say.
It's hard to say, Yeah, exactly. It's not like they could just Snapchat it.
Yeah, dude. He posts on a story, this is the next batch of the staked up guys I got. Just dude. Just
And maybe even Vlad being the way he is, he probably wanted that image even more.
yeah, I could see him trying to perpetuate that too.
Like they say, the winners write the history books. Well,
Yeah.
when he's winning, he's probably writing it up even
Oh.
more. Like, don't come over here and fuck with us because
Yeah.
I do this.
Yeah,
You know?
he wanted to look like the big man, and I could see that. And you know, there's you could see both sides. Who knows for sure? It probably some of these stories, especially another one I'm gonna get into, maybe tone it down a little bit, but there's at least some truth to it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he obviously did horrible things, but this helps put it into context a little bit.
Yeah, I like that was a good addition there. That was really good.
Let me read this last paragraph about this. The invention of movable type printing contributed to the popularity of the stories about Vlad, making them one of the first bestsellers in Europe. To enhance sales, they were published in books with woodcuts on their title pages that depicted horrific scenes. For instance, the editions published in Nuremberg in 1499 and in Strasbourg in 1500 depict Vlad dining at a table surrounded by dead or dying people on poles. That sounds like the story
Yeah.
you were talking about.
The attack on Brasov, or however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, which who knows if it was true or not. It's legendary that he dipped his bread in blood, right?
Yeah, that's more.
Maybe it came from here. Maybe that was
Yeah.
depicted on one of the covers.
Yeah, it's definitely legend says. Who knows for sure?
If I was trying
Yeah.
to sell a book, I would definitely depict that on there.
100%. Although I definitely want to believe that he did. But he's like, oh, my servant, give me my table, and
Right.
he just ate a lunch. Just,
I mean, knowing about
believe
the
it.
guy, I could see him doing it
Yeah.
just because,
Yeah, totally, man.
like with some slaves in front of him, some people he's about to kill.
yeah.
Like, let me show you what kind of guy I am.
Yeah, look at how dope my life is. He's eating
Just
good.
sadistically enjoying it.
Yeah, no, he gets off on weird shit for sure.
Let's get another spin on these stories. So these stories weren't just in German.
So that's the German perspective.
Let's get to the Slavic ones.
Okay,
Okay.
I like it.
The 19 anecdotes in the Skazini are longer than the German stories about Vlad. They are a mixture of fact and fiction. According to the historian Raymond T. McNally, almost half of the anecdotes emphasize Vlad's brutality, but they also underline that his cruelty enabled him to strengthen the central government in Wallachia. For instance, the Skazini writes of a golden cup that nobody dared to steal at a fountain because Vlad hated stealing so violently that anybody who caused any evil or robbery did not live long, thereby promoting public order. And the German story about Vlad's campaign against Ottoman territory underlined his cruel acts, while the Skazini story emphasized his successful diplomacy, calling him zlomundry, or evil wise.
So it seems like the Slavics they give him a little more credit. It seems like.
I mean, that seems like the type of people they were, though. They were some hard
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
But yeah, they were like, yeah, he was evil, he was bad, but it had a
He's good at
purpose.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was evil to evil people, is what like they're saying. Yeah, he was evil to evil people, and it made his empire stronger. So they painted him totally different.
Yes.
So you can see just between these two countries telling the same stories about the same person, how differently they tell those stories.
Yeah. Two completely different outcomes from both of those.
Kind of like the media today. No, I mean,
Yeah,
not that.
Dude, so true though.
Not fake. There's no fake news. All news is real. Listen to they're all true.
No, that was a good addition though, seeing how different societies saw it differently.
Yeah, they totally paint them like they take the story and just totally change it one way or another. Mm-hmm. Who knows what like the truth really is there?
No, that was good. You ready for me to segue into some more weird stories?
Let's hear. I would love to hear more stories about Vlad.
Okay, if you made it this far, you already know that like this one's pretty nasty.
Let's hear some insane stuff.
Okay, so this one is called The Cauldron of Death.
Like it already.
Yeah, so
Sounds like a Slayer album.
dude, yeah, it does sound like a metal album.
Thrash metal, obviously.
Yeah. Freaking okay, so Vlad supposedly had a huge copper cauldron in his castle topped with a wooden cover. At the center of the cover, there was a hole big enough to fit a head through. The pot was filled with water and a fire could be lit underneath it. I think you guys can already hear where this is going.
He's making a stew for them.
Yeah, man. So Vlad would boil people like this. In one legend connecting into this, Vlad had 300 people boiled and roasted alive in batches, forcing the others who were waiting to get boiled to death to eat the meat of the boiled individuals that were killed before them. To connect into this one, if he had if he found a family like a kid, a husband, and a wife, he would boil the child first, force feed that to the mom, and then the mom would get boiled and her breast would be chopped off and force fed to the husband.
What?
Yeah, like nasty. And once again, I don't know how much truth, but
It doesn't sound true.
no.
But I don't want to say that in case that did happen to those people.
I feel
bad for them.
I feel like he at least did boil a guy or two, but that is pretty far out there and pretty nasty. Just
It's insane.
completely and utterly insane.
I feel like he wouldn't be able to rule an empire if he. Well, I don't know, man.
I guess.
It's like if Joffrey grew up.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Like if Joffrey grew up, stayed in charge the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's hard to believe it being true.
Yeah,
Or maybe that's just our defense mechanism to deal with with how brutal it is.
if this kind of shit is true, the citizens that he ruled over were just hardened individuals. Like,
I mean, people were hard back then.
yeah, they were a lot harder.
They were definitely hard back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. You notice no one in his empire was, going on about gender politics. They had real problems to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. Guess I'll segue into another one. This is a little shorty but fun one. This one, I title it "The Nailed Turbans." So a group of Ottomans were sent to have a meeting with Vlad. When the Ottomans showed up, they did not remove their turbans. They claimed that it was for religious reasons, which for me is understandable. But Vlad took this as disrespect. Like, I think you guys have heard, like, sometimes it's show respect. Like, you're going to sit down in a meeting, you take your hat off, your cap off, whatever. Vlad did not like this. So in his eyes, his way of helping these guys, this is his response. He grabs these guys and he nails the turbans into their head. I'm assuming they didn't live too long after the nailing, but like, what the fuck, dude? It doesn't stop. These just crazy legends.
I just imagine him holding them down, just hammering. He's got like a bunch of his rough dude around him. His equivalent of the SS soldiers back then that were actually like way rougher than the SS. These Transylvanian Vlad Dracula dragon warriors just holding these guys down. He's using these hand-forged blacksmith square nails and just hammering it in their head with a big-ass, heavy hand-forged hammer back like the day. Just,
oh my God.
Knowing him, I bet he specifically picked like short nails. So that it wouldn't kill him
instantly.
And then just kept like hammering a bunch of them around their head. Dude. Just like, fuck these guys.
Not to bring up Game of Thrones again, but he's got like a mountain, like how you were saying, fucking holding them in a headlock.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then he's coming through, nailing. God, dude, just no fucks given at all.
Man, that's insane.
Okay, well, I'll get one more shitty one in, and then we'll do a little bit of fun stuff at the end.
What do you mean? This is all fun.
It is fun.
This is the best way to kick off October.
Yeah, no.
Dracula. This is the real Dracula. He's way more hardcore than Dracula in the books.
Dude, totally. We chose...
The mythical Dracula would be scared of the real Dracula.
Dude, Oh, he would be shaking in his boots if you.
Yeah, he'd show up, no reflection. I'm gonna drink your blood, and he's like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna nail your head to the fucking floor." What are you talking about?
Yeah,
your
yeah.
teeth look gay.
No,
just murder him.
Yeah, and then the ice off the cake. I'm gonna shove a steak up your ass.
Oh yeah, and then I'm gonna impale you.
Yeah. Okay. So this one's real small, and this one is where it definitely gets into the legend. I don't feel like I believe this one, but this one I titled Bloodlust. It kind of connects.
Good title.
Yeah, it kind of connects into the.
I feel like we need to make a metal album with all these titles.
Dude, they all could be an album.
That's all I think of. Sorry,
Yeah, the song list.
This is a song list.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh man, if we get a fan to make those songs and send them to us,
Dude, the song names, like we have what was the first the Forest of the Impaled, the Cauldron of Death, the Nailed Turbans.
Turbans.
Yeah. Okay, so
nailed turbans has to be real scaly. Anyways, let's go. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
dude, this is what these are just to have fun with. But so we already have the background of the impaling, the torturing, the boiling, etc. We can infer that Vlad was into a lot of weird shit and possibly had a thing for blood. Maybe, probably not, but
He jerked off with it.
oh my god.
No, I imagine him not really caring about sex at all.
Yeah, I there was bigger fish to fry in his head. I don't think he gave a fuck.
Did he reproduce? I didn't even look that up.
I know he was one of 4 brothers apparently. I know
But
he
I
had
didn't look that up. Did he reproduce? I'm so curious now.
I think his ship eventually went down probably pretty good. But so legend says that Vlad would wash his hands in the blood of his victims. I don't really know what to take from that. I don't know if that's more meant to be taken metaphorically, but if it is literally, dude, it's fucking crazy. Like, he is just a nasty, just psychopath of a guy. Did you find anything on that?
He did have children.
Okay, he did.
I'm not going into detail on it, but he did.
Okay.
Man, how fucked up did those kids come out? Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess those are the few little connections I made to maybe the Dracula thing with washing his hands in blood and dipping the bread in the blood and in just enjoying watching people die. But
it's insane. Like, you hear mostly of like people from battle, like washing the blood off their hands.
Yeah, but
washing off. He's like, I'm going to wash in the blood.
Yeah, that was like his skincare program.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that was his lotion.
Okay, so
that's what kept him looking so young.
Maybe
that's why he seemed immortal.
Maybe he's Saint Germain.
He's like Hillary Clinton. I mean, drinking adrenochrome.
Dude,
I'm just kidding. These are jokes.
Dude, if you were given a bottle, would you drink it?
Adrenochrome?
Yeah,
1,000%.
Yeah, dude, I would want to try it for sure. Oh, dude,
I mean, at that point, you are in somewhere fucked up that if you don't, you're probably gonna get killed.
Dude, I would also love to have some Regeneron on me at all times. I was a little lower energy at the beginning of this podcast. I'm kind of getting over some sickness, but if I just had a little Regeneron shot, ready to go. But
dude, adrenochrome
it's the shit.
I don't know. Supposedly
it's the shit. Okay,
I bet Vlad had tons of it. Everyone he killed was freaking out, traumatized.
So now I'll segue into a title I like to call 200 IQ Battle Tactics.
Best title.
Yeah, the best title.
You were the best titler.
Some of the other ones, like the Cauldron of Death, I think on the website, that's what they called it. But this one, I came up with this one on my own in the Bloodlust one.
I love it.
The Nailed Turbans. But
you should have named it. Actually, the only thing better would have been 666 IQ.
Okay, yeah, dude, I should have. Thought about that.
That's the metal title.
Yeah,
we're naming metal songs here. 666 IQ Battle Tactics.
Oh my god, dude! And the song has nothing to do with the title.
It's a doom metal intro, very slow, heavy.
Okay, so this one's pretty cool. So Vlad supposedly he had this idea that he thought to himself, battling an army of sick, ill people would be a lot easier than battling a healthy one.
Makes sense.
So
the guy's smart. It makes sense.
So supposedly Vlad paid some sick people to sneak in an Ottoman camp with the goal to spread the sickness. And I'm assuming it didn't work.
He was
if
down with the
But yeah,
sickness. Is that what you're saying?
Down with the sickness. But I just thought that was like, how could you even think of that, dude? Like hearing it, it's obvious why that would, help your battle. But
I'm surprised he didn't take it further. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't find sick prostitutes to go in and fuck the soldiers.
Yeah, dude. Or I could taking a couple of his impaled victims and just throwing them in their water supply or something.
That's Attila the Hun shit.
So,
but yeah, he's not far off, man. He's
another dope
thinking.
battle tactic. They would use Vlad's army. They'd sometimes use guerrilla tactics. And on a night in 1462, Vlad led a surprise guerrilla attack on an Ottoman camp. He had some of his men dress up like Ottomans and sneak into the camp. And this is during the night. It's dark outside. They don't have electricity. But
they don't in 1400.
They don't have street lights lighting everything.
That's not what I saw on the History Channel at 3 a.m. They had alien technology.
Yeah, maybe
from the Egyptians.
Dude, imagine, if Vlad got his hands on some alien technology. Oh my God. We would not exist right now.
In the middle of the night.
So
when Vlad is his strongest at a full moon, obviously.
He was
This
Dracula.
makes so much sense.
So he dresses some guys up. They sneak into the camp. I'm assuming they were pretty smart guys too.
He had his elite SS soldiers, whatever they are. They're the Dracula soldiers. He had his Dracula soldiers. If he didn't call them that, he should have. He screwed up on the names.
No,
he had his Dracula elite warriors out there.
Yeah. And I guess they were the attack ended up in retreat for Vlad, but with the amount of chaos and confusion they were able to create, some of the Ottomans just started killing each other because they didn't know who was who.
I picture him going in with a small force and just wreaking havoc and then retreating like a G.
Yeah, just to... Dude, 100%.
The man might be evil and insane and a psychopath, but he's good at war.
Yeah,
I imagine that being a total success.
Yeah, I bet you.
He had them killing each other.
Yeah.
Guys waking up in the middle of the night killing each other because they don't know what's going on.
They don't know who's who. Who can I trust? But it's like that one episode of Rick and Morty where there's like duplicate versions of of themselves and they're trying to pinpoint which one's the real one.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are just some cool stories I found. Once again, especially some of the far out ones. I don't know if you can take them all for face value, but a bunch of cool stories, a bunch of weird legends surrounding this guy, and I think it's just a fun one, man.
Yeah, you can't get much more better than Dracula for our first. This is our first Spooktober Halloween inspired episode. I forgot to say that in the beginning. Spooktober going strong, guys. Dracula. I don't have anything else to say about the man. Vlad was a hard dude. That I know for sure. I don't know how much of the legends are true or false, but he was a hardened individual.
Yeah.
Rough hardened childhood, and he might have been a psychopath, but he took back the principality for his bloodline.
Yeah, whether you want to, however you want to describe it. I mean, he was, in his way, he was successful, man.
Yeah.
At least for a good period of time. I mean, he was running shit for a while.
Whether he was really that crazy or he was just kind of crazy and helped spread that rumor on purpose, that image to just scare his enemies. Either he's just straight evil and smart at battle, or he is just a genius at psychological warfare.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. 100%. He was the master of psychological warfare, especially for this time.
Yeah, imagine coming across 20,000 impaled people, and
I want to believe it was 20,000.
There was one story I read about him where he was losing a battle, and while he was retreating, he just kept leaving decapitated bodies
Oh,
behind
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that one. So he's retreating. They just start decapitating everyone that they already killed or whoever they come across. They just decapitate them, leave a trail of decapitated bodies behind them, so that when the Ottoman Sultan is chasing after them, they're going through a field of a trail of decapitated bodies, and eventually they just stop. And the Sultan he says something along the lines of I can't pursue this devil.
Dude, it's like he's like reverse psychology. Like I'm gonna leave a trail. Like you can follow this and you'll know exactly where I'm at. But are you gonna follow it?
You want to chase me? Here's what's waiting for you.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right. I
think I'm pretty tapped out here, man.
Yeah, that's all I got on it. Like I said, so happy we started off our first Spooktober Halloween month on this.
Yeah, I think this was a good first one.
Thanks for listening, guys. We're gonna try to crank out 3 more for you this Halloween season, this month of October.
Yeah, we try our best here. Also, a little shameless plug at the end. We got a merch store. If you want to buy something, buy a T-shirt. If not, just listen to us. Is awesome.
Yep, buy everything. You need a sweatshirt for every member of your family.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, we appreciate you guys. Our webpage is up. There's a blog on it if you want to read some little short tidbits. We got our Twitter going, and we're about to launch a Instagram, and we're going to start putting up some short TikTok videos here soon. So we hope to, touch base with you guys, and we hope you appreciate it, and, reach us on all our platforms.
It's been Jake.
And this is Red. Till next time.
See ya.